Krishna everyone, welcome to harekrishnatemple morning Bhagavatam class, those who are present in person and also online. So we study from Srīmad Bhāgavatam, first Canto, chapter 19. Which is titled Appearance of Śukadeva Gosvāmī, and text number 20. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshva bhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Please repeat. Before reciting this Srīmad Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Navahidam Raj Rishivarya Chitram Bhavat Sukrishnam Stamanuvrateshu Yedhyasanam Rajakirita Jushtam Sadyo Jayur Bhagavat Parshvakamaha. Nava idam Raj Rishivarya Chitram Bhavat Sukrishnam Samanuvrateshu Yedhyasanam Rajakirita Jushtam Sadyo Jayur Bhagavata Parshvakamaha.
Idam Rajarashivarya Chitram Bhavat Sukrishnam Samanuvrateshu Yedhyasanam Rajakirita Jushtam Sadyo Jahur Bhagavat Parshvakama.
Idam Rajarashivarya Chitram Sukrishnam samanubrateshu Yasanam rajakrita jijustam Sadyo jahur bhagavat pasvakama
Navaitam Rajrishivarya Chitram Bhavat Sukrishnam samanubrateshu Yedhyasanam rajakirtajustam Sadyo jahur bhagavata parshvatama
One more.
Navaidam Rajrishivarya Chitram Bhavat Sukrishnam samanubrateshu Yedhyasanam rajakirtajustam Sadhyo jahur bhagavata parshvatamaha
Word to word. Please repeat. Na. Neither. Va. Like this. Idam. This. Rajrishi. Saintly king. Varya. The chief. Chitram. Astonishing. Bhavatsu. Unto all of you. Krishnam. Lord Krishna. Samanuvrateshu. Unto those who are strictly in the line. Ye, who, adhyasanam, seated on the throne. Raja Kirita, helmets of kings. Jushtam, decorated. Satyaha, immediately. Jahu, gave up. Bhagavat, personality of Godhead. Vashakamaha, desiring to achieve association. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki. The sages said, O chief of all the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty, who are strictly in the line of Lord Sri Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you give up your throne, which is decorated with helmets of many kings, so to achieve eternal association with the personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, please hear. So, basically where we are at, that Maharaj Parikshit has received information and message from Samika Rishi about his pending death in 7 days' time. And Maharaj Parikshit has renounced the kingdom, enthroned his son, and has come to the bank of Ganges, and there pleaded with the various sages assembled there on what he should be doing. Later on we'll see the appearance of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. And here in these verses we see how the great sages, they are receiving Maharaj Parikshit, and they are glorifying Maharaj Parikshit and appreciating his determination to associate and serve Lord Krishna, Bhagavat Parshvatama. And this purport is so wonderful by Srila Prabhupada. Please hear. Foolish politicians who hold political administrative posts think that the temporary posts they occupy are the highest material gain of life stick to those posts even up to the last moment of life without knowing that achievement of liberation as one of the associates of the Lord in his eternal abode is the highest gain of life. The human life is meant for achieving this end. The Lord has assured us in the Bhagavad Gita many times that going back to Godhead, his eternal abode, is the highest achievement. Prahlad Maharaj, while praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, said, "O my Lord, I am very much afraid of the materialistic way of life, and I'm not the least afraid of your present ghastly, ferocious feature as Nrsimhadev. The materialistic way of life is something like a grinding stone, and we are being crushed by it. We have fallen onto this horrible whirlpool of the tossing waves of life, and thus, my Lord, I pray at your lotus feet to call me back to your eternal abode as one of your servants." Servitors. This is the submit liberation of the materialistic way. I have very bitter experience of the materialistic way of life, in which species of life have taken birth compelled by the force of my own activities. I have very painfully expressed two things, namely separation from my beloved and meeting with what is not wanted, and to counteract them, the remedies which I undertook were more dangerous than the disease itself. So I drift from one point to another, birth after birth, and I pray to you, therefore, to give me a shelter at your lotus feet. So all this is said by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th Canto of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Pandava kings, who are more than many saints of the world, knew the bitter results of the materialistic way of life. They were never captivated by the glare of the imperial throne they occupied, and they sought always the opportunity of being called by the Lord to associate with himself eternally. Maharaj Parikshit was the worthy grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira gave up the imperial throne to his grandson, and similarly Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthira, gave up the imperial throne to his son Janmajaya. That is the way of all kings in the dynasty, because they are all strictly in the line of Lord Krishna. Thus the devotees of the Lord are never enchanted by the glare of materialistic life, and they live impartially, unattached to the objects of false, illusory, materialistic way of life. Impartially, unattached. Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Śrīla Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Bhute Mahadbhir Yanima Puro Vibhu Nirmaya Shete Yadamusha Purusha Bhute Gunan Shodashatmaka Solam Krisishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satatapirvatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. So in previous few verses, we see Parikshit Maharaj actually praying, and in assembly of these sages, he is offering obeisances to all the sages and brahmanas. And he says that if I should take my birth in this material world, I pray that I have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govardhan Ki. And with his devotees and friendly relationships with all living entities. It's my humble obeisances unto all the assembled devotees and many senior devotees assembled today in this assembly. I beg for your permission. Please bless me so that I can speak something to glorify Lord Shri Krishna and his devotees. I'm very humbled by your presence. So Parikshit Maharaj here has mentioned three things: that he be completely attached to Lord Shri Krishna, his supreme worshipper; that he be completely attached to the devotees of Lord Shri Krishna; and then lastly, he have friendly relationships with all living entities. And this is the hallmark of a pure devotee. Now, if you look, the offense that Parikshit Maharaj had committed was actually not that big of an offense, and certainly Shamika Rishi did not take much out of it. When he woke up, he just took up the dead snake garland and put it aside, unbothered by who had put it even. But Shringi took an offense, and Shringi cursed. And we know Parikshit Maharaj, when he is returning back, he is feeling heavy heart and guilt. So similarly, when our own behavior is not up to the mark, when we offend someone, we also feel this heavy heart that yes, perhaps I should not have spoken this way, perhaps I should not have said these things. Or even without saying it, even if in our minds we are thinking something bad, in our minds sometimes we chastise people, then we have the heavy heart. And when we meet the persons, then automatically there is a distance created. There is, a pause, so to speak. When we are talking, there's a pause. And that pause, although it's 1 second, but it can be a pause of eternity, that 1 second is. Parikshit Maharaj is not like that, because he does not take to heart. Why does not he take to heart? Because his focus is Krishna only. And we take to heart because our focus is not Krishna. Therefore, little things trouble us. And in our minds, we give rent-free place to anyone and everyone. Our Guru Maharaj said, why? We're giving a rent-free place to others in our minds when only Krishna should be there. I remember this verse, it comes to later on, I think from 7th Canto. Yudhishthira Maharaj is instructed by Narad Muni. Narad Muni says, Nyaso dandesu bhutesu mano vakta kaya anjasa. That Naitra Drishi parodharmo. That there is no higher religion, O Yudhishthira Maharaj, Sadharmam Ichtham, that those who want to follow the path of Sadharma, the true spiritual way of life, Nyaso Dandeshu Bhutesu, that one who refrains, so Dande means hitting someone or punishing someone, Nyase Dandesu Bhuteshu. How? Manova Kaya Anjasa. Violence by mind, mana, violence by words, vaka, and violence by bodily harm. So, if we really want to be shanta, peaceful, then even from the mind, we should be free from envy and trying to harm others by mind. Mano, vak, kaya, anjasa. So why is that? Why is this very important?
Otherwise it will come out also.
Well, eventually, whatever is in the mind will come out. But let's say it doesn't come out.
It's a burden that you carry now. So
Very good, Prabhuji. It's an unnecessary burden we are carrying on our minds, in our hearts. And as long as we carry that burden, there is no room for Krishna. And because Parikshit Maharaj is not carrying the burden. First thing Parikshit Maharaj said, yes, it's my fault. He doesn't go into an analytical mode. Oh, okay, I was wrong there, but the punishment I got is totally disproportionate to the crime committed. It's totally disproportionate, which it was, we know that. But no, Parikshit Maharaj just says, it was my fault. And I prayed to the Lord, a befitting punishment to come. And when the news came, Parikshit Maharaj was very happy. In fact, here in Bhāgavatam, Parikshit Maharaj says that he received the curse and he saw that the Krishna had come in form of the curse. Krishna had come in form of the curse. So similarly in our lives also, when any reverses come, we have to take the stock. No, it is actually Krishna. Krishna wants me to go through this, and Krishna wants me to come top of it. And Krishna, because various tests will come. Now, on one hand, we see that Parikshit Maharaj was protected by Krishna when he was in the womb of the mother. Yesterday we were discussing how Uttara, Parikshit's mother, when her womb was attacked by the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, she ran towards Krishna. Please repeat wonderful prayer for protection. Pahi pahi mahayogin.
Pahi pahi mahayogin.
So pahi pahi means protect me, protect me. So Uttara was reeling out, oh Krishna, protect me, protect me. Pahi pahi mahayogin.
Pahi pahi mahayogin.
Deva deva jagatpate.
Deva deva jagatpate.
O gods of gods, Deva Deva Jagatpate, the proprietor of all the universes, the owner, master of all the universes. Tvad anya abhayam pashye, yatra mrityu parasparam. So she says, Tvad anya, apart from you, abhayam pashye, I cannot see anyone else who can deliver me. From where? Yatra mrityu parasparam. From this death, from this situation which is, I'm undergoing through. But here we see that same Maharaj Parikshit, so Maharaj Parikshit became known as Vishnu Rata because Lord Vishnu had protected in the womb. But now same Maharaj Parikshit, he sees death in form of the Brahmana's case that has come. And he is receiving this as yes, Krishna has come in form of death, in form of the Brahmana's case. And very respectfully, he is receiving this. So, firstly, of course, he has completely detached himself. He's not in an analyzing mode. Immediately he left the kingdom. He doesn't go for even advice. as to, okay, should I leave now? Should I leave 7 days later, 6 days later, or what? No, immediately. And why he's able to do it? Because from birth, as it is mentioned in this verse, that they are in the line of Krishna. Significant word here is mentioned, Bhavatsu Krishnam Samanuvrateshu. So, Krishnam, of course, Lord Krishna, Samanuvrateshu, onto those who are strictly in the line of Krishna. So, Maharaj Parikshit is not an ordinary soul. From birth, he is looking for Krishna. Now, that's why his name became Parikshit Maharaj, because the wonderful, beautiful face that he had seen in the womb of his mother, Bhagavan Thakur very nicely describes that Krishna's body is very, very sweet. But his face is more sweeter than his body. And from his Mukhamandal, his face, his smita, his smile is even sweeter. There is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I can't remember, but it mentions this point. And Rupa Gosvāmī actually mentions that, yes, Smeram bhangi traya parichitam sarchi vistirna drishtim. He says there is a boy who is smiling. So this feature of Krishna, we see always, Krishna is never grumpy, Krishna never has frowning face, or eyebrows, frowning like Smeram. He's got a smile on his face. Guru Maharaj just says, so when we come to have darshan of Krishna, we should also smile. We should not be like a rotten banana. We should look at Krishna and smile. We shouldn't be so serious. And we should offer some praise to Krishna. Like Uttara did here, and before that Arjuna did. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabaho, Bhaktya Nama Bhayankaraha. Tumeko Dahiyamananam Apavargosi Samsmite. Again, he is dependent on Krishna, that apart from you, no one can deliver from this Brahmastra, Dahyaman, which is bailing us all. You are mighty armed, Krishna, Krishna, Mahabaho. Bhaktya Nam, and for the devotees, Abhayankara. You are the source of fearlessness. So the devotees, so here Parikshit Maharaj, he had seen the face of Krishna, and the face of Krishna was so beautiful, full of smile. Smeharam bhangi traya parichitam. And Rupa Gosvāmī mentioned, Sachi vistirna drishtim. Krishna is giving a Broadway look side glance. So Krishna's face may be this direction, but he looks like this. Sachi vistirna drashtim. Vamshinyast adaraha kishalayam ujvalam chandrakena. And on his hand he's holding flute. Vamshinyast adhara. And the flute is touching his lips. And he's blowing nectar through that flute, through his lips. Ujvalam chandrakena. And full moon, Purnima moon, is just shining on his transcendental body. Govindakhyam harihi tanumita keshitir talpakante. He's standing on the banks of Yamuna on a ghat known as Keshi Ghat, and his body, harihi tanumita, is not this material body like yours and mine, it's transcendental. And full moon is just radiating on his body. Rupa Gosvāmī says, Ma prekshatavayati sakher bandhu sangastirangaha. My dear friend, if your friends and relatives are dear to you, then don't look at this boy, because he'll take away everything. How? Because you'll be completely become attached to him. And this is the condition of Parikshit Maharaj. He had an audience of Krishna in the womb of his mother And since then, Parikshit Maharaj is eager to have audience of Krishna. Therefore his name is Parikshit. He's looking at everyone. Is that the face I saw in my mother's womb? Is that the face? Is that the face? So he's constantly searching for Krishna. And now he saw Krishna in form of the Brahmana's case. And therefore happily he has set voluntarily with determination to fast. And he's asking, he's seeking shelter of the sages. Yes, what should I do? And Srila Prabhupada mentions this point here that foolish politicians who hold political administrative posts think that the temporary posts they occupy are the highest material gain of life, and therefore they stick to those posts even up to the last moment of life without knowing that achievement of liberation is not of liberation as one of the associates of the Lord in his eternal abode is the highest gain of life. So, I think during the week I had mentioned this point that the scriptures enjoin, of course, like we are attached. Now we are attached to house, family, children, wife to husband, husband to wife. That attachment is there. We may say, no, it's okay, I'm not that attached, I'm not attached. But 1 week you are aware, your mind is like, oh, how are they doing? Is that it, Mataji? Yeah. So, devotional service, it is said, we should be doing in mode of detachment. Savai nivritti dharmena vasudeva nukampaya bhagavad bhakti yogena tirodattai shnaidiha. In third canto, this problem is given that we are identifying ourselves with the body, and therefore the whole problem is happening. We may intellectually know that I'm not this body, I'm the soul, but practically we are not able to live like that on the platform of spirit. For us, everything is matter, and that matter matters to us. Matter should not matter, because we are not matter. So, what to do? So Bhagavatam gives the solution, three-step solution. Three-step solution. First, savai nivritti dharmena. Savai nivritti dharmena. So one should, in mode of detachment, do devotional service. What does the mode of detachment mean? Renunciation, yes.
Do not expect anything.
Do not expect anything. Yes. Anyone else?
Attachment to Krishna.
Attachment to Krishna. Very good.
Identifying yourself as a soul, not as a body.
Yes, that's basically the starting point. ABC or spiritual life. That mode of detachment means, although I am attached, I don't want to be attached. So we are not detached now, but we work in mode of detachment. Before chanting our rounds, oh Krishna, I'm your servant, I'm a spirit soul. I want to be your servant now, but I'm not your servant. But I want to be your servant. Dhritarashtra says in his last prayer, Mohattama shloka janeshu sakhyam. I want friendship with those devotees who are always singing your glories. Although samsara chakre brahmada swakarmavi, due to my past karmas, I'm at the moment wandering. And tvanmaya yatmach dara griheshu. Although I am attached at the moment to my children, wife, house, asakta chittas namunata bhuya, I no longer desire to be attached to them. Although I am attached, I don't want this attachment to continue. That is mode of detachment. So when we do any devotional service, chanting of the holy names of the Lord, reading Bhagavatam, reading scriptures, washing pots, cleaning the temple, doing the deity worship, whatever it is, we have to constantly be cognizant that we are doing this in mode of detachment. Krishna, I'm attached, but I don't want to be attached. You please help. And this can only happen how? Vasudevanukampaya. Through the anukampa, mercy of Krishna. Only Krishna can sever. You know, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that analogy of the tree. Urdhva moolam madashakha shvatam prahuraviyam chandam siyasya parnani yastam vedas veda ved. And he mentions this analogy through banyan tree of how the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, and this tree is upside down. And you know, narupamasye tatto palapyate. We cannot figure out this tree, what it is. But it is said there that the three modes of nature, they nourish this tree. The mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. And we are situated somewhere in the midst of ignorance and passion, mixture of that. And there is no way one can get out of this tree. You know, someone who goes through a banyan tree, it gets stuck because this is huge. Its roots are everywhere. I think in Delhi or near Kurukshetra, there are series of these trees there that once you go inside, you don't know how to come out because it's so vast, so big. And it rightfully, it represents this material world. Actually, in one of the verses, Devuti Mataji says this, that Swabhritya samsara taro kutayaha. That for your devotees, this samsara taro, this tree of birth and death, I think it's Katiram, he says. Katiram. Katiram means axe. So Krishna is like an axe which cuts this. So there Devuti Mata prays actually to Lord Kapila there. And she says, Tva Tvam Gataham Sharanam Sharanyam, that I have come to your shelter because you are the only person worthy of taking shelter. Why you are the only person worthy of taking shelter? She says, Swabhritya samsara taro kutaram. Because for your own seven, samsara taro, this tree where we are caught up, or tree of samsara, of birth and death, kutaram. Kutaram is you are an axe. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that narupamasya tatotopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta. Where this tree starts, where it ends, how vast it is, no one knows, no one can know. However, narupamasya tatotopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishta. Tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye Yatha pravritti prasita purani. But tameva chadyam, the origin of that tree is from that original personality Krishna. Purusham prapadye, one should surrender unto him, from whom everything is begun. So he says that from the sword of detachment one should cut the tree. With a sword of detachment. So there, in that verse, Krishna mentions to Arjuna, yes, with the drida shastrena chitva, that with the determination and shastrena, the weapon, one should cut this tree off. But we cannot cut this tree. Because our attachment is so heavy. So, Devuti Mata says, no, I come to your shelter, you cut the tree. Because you are an axe which can cut this tree. Swabhritya. For your own seven, samsara taro means tree, this tree of samsara, kutharam. You are the axe. Please cut this tree. And Kunti Maharani also prays like this. Atha visvesu visvatman vishvamurte svakesu me sneha pasham iman shindi. Krishna, you please break this tie I have, affection I have for my own family and for my, maternal family. So this is Krishna's mercy. So Vasudevanukampaya, this is the second thing. Depending on Krishna's mercy. Not asking Krishna, like Parikshit Maharaj, oh, Krishna, I've been now cursed, you save me from this curse. No, not like that. Hare Krishna, welcome. Sit for 5 minutes. Heating up the food. There's plenty of time. Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you. So, Vasudevanukampaya. Vasudevanukampaya. So, we are very fortunate. We are able to sit and listen. Vasudevanukampaya. We say Vasudevanukampaya. We are willing to receive the message. And then on that platform, Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena, we do Bhagavad Bhakti, devotional service unto Krishna, chanting of his holy names, deity worship, serving in some way, 9 processes of bhakti, we do all that. Then Tirodatte Shaneriya, then this misconception that this body is slowly broken away. And then we are on the platform of spiritual. And then we are detached. So Maharaj Parikshit is not on the mode of detachment, he is already detached. So therefore when the news came, he was already detached, so it was easy for him to just give it up. So similarly, we have to always be taking stock on how much detachment do we have from material things and how much attachment we have for Krishna, because the time is coming, And Prabhupada gives the example here of the administrative posts of the politicians, and we can apply in our lives as well. Okay, we may have some post at job or community, president, GBC, whatever it may be. So before we take up any position is for service. It is not for boasting our pride and ego. It is for service that we take some position may be there. But before we take that position, we should determine when I'm going to leave that position. That eagerness should be there. Not leaving it whimsically, but training someone else up to come on the same level, if not better. Training someone to become better than you is the best service we can do. Training someone, yes, to be better than us. And then when I will hand over this to this person, and I can move on to some other service. That is the way of doing it. And therefore we see in ancient times, no one is eager to take the post. They are eager to do the service. But if they are requested, no, please take the post, it's required. Then they humbly take the post up, But from the time they take the post, they are thinking, when will I leave this and hand it over to someone else? And therefore, it wasn't a struggle for Maharaj Parikshit. Srila Prabhupada gives example of Prime Minister Nehru, for example, that his health wasn't good, he was not capable in his old age to run the country. And so his colleagues were asking him, resign now give it up. But he was pleading to them, he was crying that no, please don't do this. But they said, why? You have done whatever you could do, now it's time. He said, you know what, because if I die as Prime Minister, then in my funeral, the dignitaries of all other country will attend the funeral. It's true, it's one of the reasons he gives. To that extent, the so-called leaders, politicians are attached to the position and power. And in our own lives, we have to take stock. Yes, we are growing old, as Keshav Maharaj says, 4 stages of life. From up to 25, emphasis is on learning. Up to 50, emphasis is on earning. And up to 75, emphasis is on turning to Krishna. So how much are we turning to Krishna? When turning to Krishna and returning to Krishna ultimately, that means practically preparing how Parikshit Maharaj here has arranged everything beforehand. His son Janmajaya is qualified. And Yudhishthir Maharaj also, before he went, he had fully trained Parikshit Maharaj. So we have to train our children or our subjects, other devotees, younger devotees. Yes, one day you have to be the leader. And then one day you also have to give this up to other people. But our mentality, is such, no, only I can do this, no one else can do this. This is the ego. Actually, Krishna is doing everything. He just wants us to be an instrument. We should be not attached to the post or the position, but to Krishna. Again, Vritasur says in his prayer, Nanak Prishtham Nacha Parameshtham Nasarvabhaumam Narasadhipatyam. Yes, it's Nanak Prishtham. I don't desire to reside in heavenly planets. Naparameshtham. I do not even desire liberation. Higher planets, sorry. Nasarvabhaumam. I do not desire to reign over the earthly planet. Nasarvabhaumam Narasadhipatyam Nayoga Siddhi Apunarbhavam Va. I do not desire the perfections of Eightfold Mystic Yoga. This morning in the class I was hearing that a person who has perfected Mystic Yoga, they can expand themselves 12 times at once. And we see, who did that? Kartama Muni expanded himself 9 times, I think. And just to please his wife, Devdati. And he was a perfect grahastha, such a yogi. But Krishna can expand unlimited times. When Krishna expanded himself into the cows and the cowhead boys, unlimited expansion was there. And the yogi can only expand and duplicate themselves. But Krishna can expand and duplicate others. He says, I don't want yogic perfection. I don't want even liberation. Samanjasastva virahiya kangshe. If having all these things, having the post of heaven, having the post of earth, having the post of lower planets, having the yogic siddhi and getting liberation, if all this means I am viraha means separate from you, then thank you, my Lord, but no thank you. I don't want it. But materialists are attached to all these things. And they say, yes, we want this. And with this, if Krishna comes, then it's okay. But if Krishna doesn't come with all this, it's okay. But for the devotees, it's hell. So, Parikshit Maharaj, therefore, his focus is completely Krishna. He's attached to Krishna. He's looking for Krishna everywhere. And when the opportunity came, therefore, he was able to just be completely detached. He's not in mode of detachment. He's in detachment. And this is the maturity of the mode of detachment, that completely attached to Krishna. He is already there. And so now how long we will be working in, firstly, are we working in mode of detachment, doing our service to Krishna in mode of detachment? Yes or no? Then, if we are doing the service in mode of detachment, have we become detached? Yes or no? So ultimately we have to get there, and it's not a very easy thing. Prabhupada used to say in my, of course, this detachment is a more internal concept than an ashram concept. One can be in a vanaprastha, live on, but internally complete detachment is there. But of course, Prabhupada, spiritual master, in his dream he would appear and he would extend his hands, calling out, yes, now take sannyas. And Prabhupada said, I used to wake up with cold sweat and really frightened. How can I leave my family? How can I take sannyas? But that's some other level. But at least at our level, yes, one day we all have to die. We should always be cognizant of this fact, that as sure as death. And so, before death forces and takes away everything in my mind, I leave everything. And things may be there with me, but no attachment to those things. And that only will come when we are completely attached to Krishna. And till we are not completely attached to Krishna, our devotional service should be in mode of detachment. Now, this is very important because we haven't actually even entered, the main purport of Srila Prabhupada. We'll quickly try to touch it. That Prabhupada here extensively quotes Prahlad Maharaj's prayer. And there in Prahlad Maharaj's prayer, Prahlad Maharaj says, Naham vibhyam majitate eti bhayanakasya, that I am not afraid of your ghastly form, O Lord Nrsimha there. Jilvar kanetra bhrugdi rabasogradamstra, your frowning eyebrows, your tongue, your ferocious teeth, and all these things. Lord Nrsimha's form is very, very fearful. I remember first time I went to Mayapur, and in the morning Mangala Arati time, when Nrsimha Arati I attended, as I had darshan of Lord Nrsimha there, I was like, oh, this is very frightening form of the Lord. It's Ugra. Ugra means angry. Not only angry as we know it, no, like really ferocious form. But Prahlad Maharaj, what does he say? I am not afraid. I am not afraid. What am I afraid of? He says to Lord, Trastosmyaham kripanavatsala dustahogra samsara chakra kadanad grasatam pranitam. I am afraid of this material world, samsara, and your illusory energy. Samsara chakra, this chakra of cycle of birth and death, I am afraid of that. In which chakra grasitam. Grasitam means, there's a grinding stone. Grinding stone. I've seen my mother and my grandmother use it. One stone round is down, and then another stone on top of that, and there's a hole, and there's a stick, and there's a hole in the middle, and you put the grains in the middle, and you just turn it around, and it crushes into flour. Nice fresh flour, rotis you can have, chapatis you can have. So we used to have it like that, But imagine if you are in that grinder, it's called chakki. So our Guru Maharaj mentioned that samsara chakki janiye. So the samsara is like that. It is crushing us, crushing us, crushing us. Samsara chakki janiye kila rupa bhagavan. Kila means that stick which used to turn. So whichever grains get stuck to that killer, they don't get crushed. So samsara chakki janiye kila rupa bhagavan, kila nikat sabaj gaye, baki gaye pisan. So those who are near the kill, they are saved. The rest of them are crushed and crushed. Now just imagine, like large stone just falls on you and crushes you completely. So this samsara is like that. We're not realizing it is grinding us. It is completely taming us. So he says, I'm afraid of that. Trastosmyaham kripanavatsala dusaho gra samsara chakra kadanan grasatam pranitam. Baddham swakadma bhirushattam atengri moolam. I'm bound in the network of my karma, swakarma. And how can I come angrim moolam to your lotus feet? And he prays to the Lord, Prito pavarga sharanam yavase kadanu. Oh Krishna, when will you call me to your lotus feet? Krishna, when will you call me to your lotus feet? And he then says, Prabhupada translates in here, that whatever in this world, yasmat priya viyoga samayoga janma, whatever we want in this world, whatever is dear to us, viyog means separation happens. Our near and dear ones, always in this world, there will be separation. And apriya, and those who are not near and dear to us, samayoga, they will come near us. This is the material nature. Yasmat priya viyog samayoga janma. Priya is viyoga and apriya is samayoga. Yasmat priya viyog samayoga janma. And then he says what? Shokagnina sakalayo nishuddhayamana. Shoka. And every living entity is suffering because of this lamentation. What is the lamentation? What we want, we don't get. What we don't want, we get. Shokagnina. This is the fire of lamentation. Sakala yonishu. All the living entities, dahiyamanam, are burning in this. And then, what do we try to do? We try to find a remedy to the situation. Dukkaushadam tadapi dukkham tadhyayam. But that medicine is worse than the disease. Sometimes, we see some people have like cancer. Then the doctors say, okay, go chemotherapy, radiotherapy somewhere. But to most patients, they find that this is worse than the disease. Unless and until the patients are resilient, like our Murari Hari Prabhu, depending on Krishna, always chanting his names, it is very hard. They say, I rather not take the treatment because the treatment is worse than the disease. So any treatment, we try to resolve material problems, actually we get more and more stuck into problems. Therefore Prahlad Maharaj says, we can't have material solutions to material problems. There has to be spiritual solutions. Dukkha-aushadam, that aushadi, that medicine will give dukkha. Tad api dukkha atadhyayam. The only solution, bhumam brahmatmi vadame tavadasya yogam. That your dasya yogam, being your servant, becoming your servant, is the only solution to this problem. Prahlad Maharaj says that. That's the only solution to this problem. Now, last point, we'll end on this, that great rishis have come to assemble and see this, because they are cognizant of this fact that Maharaj Parikshit is an exalted personality. Even though he's not a rishi, he's not a sage, but still he's more than the rishi, more than the sage. Why? Because he is Krishna Parayana, attached to Krishna. And therefore even great rishis come to bless, not only bless, to get the opportunity to associate. Now, before this chapter, where else we see this happening? It is happening one more time. Very good. Yes, Bhishma Dev's pastime. We see great rishis have turned up. Great exalted personalities have turned up. And there, Bhishma Dev actually is saying, now see the numerology. Sometimes, when we study Srīmad Bhāgavatam, I see that, okay, the ways we are studying is 1, 19, 20. Now, in 1, 9, 20, see how Bhishma Dev mentions this point about Krishna and the Pandavas. 1, 9, 20. Please repeat. Yanmanyase matu leyam. Yanmanyase matu leyam. Priyam mitram sruhuttamam. Akora sachivam dutam. Sruhida athasarathim. So Bhishma Dev here is saying to Pandavas, no, why this isn't relevant, because here the rishis maintain that you are strictly in line of Krishna. You are strictly in line of Krishna. Krishnam samattamam. In line of Krishna. And what is that line of Krishna? Here Bhishma Dev mentions that yanmanyase matuleyam. That you Pandavas are regarding Krishna as your cousin, your mother's side's families. You are regarding him as Priyam, very dear. Krishna, at every opportunity to be with the Pandavas, he would not leave it. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says that, O Krishna, when he realizes the supremacy of the Lord, he begs forgiveness. In the same bed we are sitting, in the same bed we are talking, the same bed we are eating, and I'm jokingly talking with you, and I'm causing so much offenses. Priyam. And Krishna like that. Mitram, you are the friend. Sruhittamam, you are the ardent well-wisher. So Krishna is the ardent well-wisher of Pandavas. Akaroha. And Krishna executes, he does things on behalf of Pandavas. He hid the sun behind the clouds when Arjuna was fighting Jayadratha. So many things Krishna does on behalf of Pandavas. Sachivam. Sachiva means counsel. So Krishna is counseling Pandavas. Do this, do this. Okay, Jarasandha needs to be killed. Yes, me, Arjuna, and Bhima will go. And Jarasandha will pick Bhima, I know. And Bhima will kill Jarasandha. So he's counseling Yudhishthira Maharaj. Okay, now is the time for you to do Rasuyagna. And Krishna himself is present there. He's receiving guests. What to speak of the guests? Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj is allocating Krishna that you do all the logistics. No, make arrangements. Like when we do festivals here, there's a logistics team. Okay, this much rice is needed, this much dal is needed, this many people will come, someone has to be in the reception, receiving the guest, who will do the aarti, who will be the pujari, so many things. But this is at smaller scale, but this Rasuyagna is at worldwide, the whole world, kings will be coming here. So Krishna is the logistical person in charge. And then Yudhishthira Maharaja, Krishna goes to Yudhishthira Maharaj and says, "O Emperor, I have done all the logistics. Now tell me what needs to be done, and so I can do some service." So so Yudhishthira Maharaj says, he has already allocated everything. No service remains now. So jokingly, Yudhishthira Maharaj says, whatever service is left, you do that. But one service hadn't been allocated. What was that?
Washing dishes.
When everyone has eaten, the Vedic system is that the plates the host has to pick up, the juta plate, and then take them to wash them. Yes, the washing and picking up the plates. So, that system is, it's one of the most, it's underrated, but it's one of the most, because I think the Western culture, the habit is taught that the respectful thing to do is that when you finish eating, pick your own plate and go and wash it. But actually that is not Vedic tradition at all. That is actually very offensive to do that. In Vedic tradition, the host, because I committed this offense as well once, I think I was second at Prabhu's place and I had prasadam, and after finishing prasadam, I took the plate. And Prabhu said, no, you can't do that, leave it. But I was adamant, no, how can I let someone else, take my plate and wash it? And then Nandkishore Prabhu was there and he looked at me very gravely and he said, you are denying the host who has so lovingly cooked for you to get the benefit of their effort by taking your own plate. So, taking your own plate, washing it takes 1 minute, not 1 minute. But the host has cooked for 3-4 hours, planned everything, arranged. And if that last thing, you don't let the host do it, then you have taken all the benefit of the host. So it is said, yes, we should, of course, if people don't know, we take our own plate and go for wash it. But if the host says, no, please leave it, then we should leave it and let the host do it. So Krishna said, I'll do the service that remains. And so when all the rishis, or were all sitting, all the guests were having prasadam and they finished, then Krishna, along with his 16,108 wives, every one is picking the plates, and Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas are looking, Krishna, what are you doing? You are picking up this, doing this service. this service usually, the dasis or the servants do it, but Krishna happily, was willing to do that service. So it's called Sachiva, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I just interrupted. I have experienced that Vedic system. One time, one of our god brother lived in Minu. Probably you heard about Haribajan Prabhu. Already passed away. So because he's getting old, so his desire to do this Vedic system. So they invited us for like some home program, some AKG disciple meeting. So what they did, Haribajan Prabhu and the wife Banu Mataji, so most of the senior devotee, so we all sitting like 12 of us. So they serve us some prasadam, they make the plate and put in front of you. And then after you finish prasadam, and then you don't touch anything. Just pick up the plate, and then they come around and then with a bowl of water and
wash your hands.
And then wash your hands and wipe. And then after that, still stay there, and then this husband and wife, the host, will give you a present.
Present, yeah.
Present like that, all the present, everything there. All the, like some puja paraphernalia, something like that,
Yeah.
And then before you can stand up. So that he's really decided to do that, so before he passed away.
It's actually very wonderful to be both doing it and also the person who's receiving it. It's so wonderful. I mean, one of my personal desires, if devotees can assist in that, is here when we serve prasadam, is at least that everyone should sit down, and then prayer is recited, plate is distributed, and the prasadam is taken to them and served. That's the Vedic system. Not that everyone lines up with the plate and then it's buffet system is not a Vedic system.
They used to have more of banana leaves, isn't it?
Yeah, that's banana leaves. Yeah.
But then there is no question of washing.
No, just he's picking. He's picking.
Taking the plates.
Even in Bangalore, we have a Bhāgavatam where when the devotees will be waiting to pick the plates, then we queue.
In Mayapur they have that system. Yeah. Okay, we'll just finish. Dutam, messenger, Srūdat, by goodwill, Atha thereupon Sarathim. So he became the chariot driver as well. So Krishna is, driving the chariot of the Pandavas, Arjuna, and taking them. So Krishna wants to serve his devotees. And here, it's not Parikshit Maharaj will be dying. No, Parikshit Maharaj is getting promotion. And to get promotion, you have to leave something. So if Ritika gets a promotion, and she cries that, but I don't want to leave this thing. Living is good because you'll get promoted. So similarly, going to Krishna and having focus on that yes, I will, that I want to be with Krishna and serve Krishna personally, that's the highest form of ambition. Devotee should be ambitious. Yes, we want the highest position in the world. Highest position in the world is to serve Krishna. Prabhupada once said, we want to be greater than Krishna. Krishna saves us. Devotees don't want that. But invariably, when one is pure at heart, Krishna wants to serve them. So by that then, the devotee even becomes greater than Krishna, because the Lord himself serves the devotee. So focus has to be there, that focus. mode of detachment, working towards that, or being attached to position. If the position goes, doesn't matter. Who will stop us from chanting Hare Krishna? Who will stop us from reading Bhagavatam? No one can. It's better. So, any comments, questions? Jai Canto srimadbhagavatam ki Jai Śukadeva ki Jai. Please, nicely on our prasada. And
Pick your plates up.
and we'll have 4:30 kirtan and then 6 p.m. Bhagavad Gita class.
You know when they do